Hi, I'm Isla. 3 years ago, I left Marcus after he put me in the hospital with a broken wrist and cracked ribs. 2 years ago, I moved back to my childhood home to help my aging father. Last week, I discovered he'd invited Marcus to Christmas dinner. I was folding laundry in the living room when my phone buzzed. Sarah's name lit up the screen. Hey, what's up? I answered. Isla, are you sitting down? Sarah's voice was tight, urgent. I'm literally folding your ugly Christmas sweater right now. What's wrong? I just ran into Marcus at the grocery store. My hand stopped mid-fold. And? He was cheerful, creepy cheerful. Started talking about how he's so excited for Christmas Eve and how he can't wait to reconnect with old friends. Sarah paused. Isla, he said he got invited to a dinner party at your dad's house? The sweater slipped from my fingers. That's impossible. Dad knows what Marcus did. He saw the hospital photos. I'm telling you what he said. Word for word, Isla. He said your dad personally called him. I ended the call and marched to my father's study. He was bent over paperwork, reading glasses perched on his nose. Dad, did you invite Marcus to Christmas? He didn't look up. Yes, I did. The casualness of it struck me like a slap. What? Marcus called me last month. Said he wanted to apologize, make amends. Sounded genuine. He finally met my eyes. It's been 3 years, Isla. You need to learn to forgive. Forgive? He broke my wrist. People change. Besides, Christmas is about second chances. He threatened to kill me, Dad. He told the police he'd finish what he started when they arrested him. My father set down his pen with deliberate slowness. You always were overdramatic. Maybe if you'd been more understanding, things wouldn't have escalated. The words hung in the air like poison. Are you blaming me for my own abuse? I'm saying relationships are complicated. Marcus has been going to therapy. He deserves a chance to show he's changed. And I deserve to feel safe in my own home. My home, he corrected, his voice hardening. You're living under my roof, eating my food. The least you can do is be civil for one evening. I stared at him, really seeing him for the first time in months. His jaw was set, his eyes cold. What's really going on here? Nothing's going on. I simply believe in redemption. You've never believed in redemption a day in your life. You disowned Cousin Jake for stealing $20 when he was 16. Dad's face flushed. That was different. How? This conversation is over, Isla. Marcus is coming to dinner. You can either attend and be pleasant or you can leave. Those are your options. I walked out before I said something I'd regret. My hands shook as I dialed Sarah. He admitted it, I said when she picked up. He actually invited Marcus, said I need to forgive and forget. That's insane. After everything, there's something else going on, Sarah. This isn't about forgiveness. My dad doesn't care about redemption. Remember when his business partner embezzled money? Dad spent 5 years making sure that guy couldn't get hired anywhere. So why would he suddenly want you and Marcus to reconcile? I don't know, but I'm going to find out. The next morning, I called my Aunt Laura, Dad's sister. She'd always been more of a mother to me than my actual mother who'd passed when I was 12. Isla, how's my favorite niece? I'm your only niece, Aunt Laura. Listen, has Dad said anything to you about wanting me to move out? The pause told me everything. Oh, honey. What? What is it? Your father called me 2 weeks ago. He's been seeing someone. Janet, I think her name is. She's been pressuring him to have the house to himself. My stomach dropped. He's kicking me out for a girlfriend? He didn't put it that bluntly. He said you were overstaying and needed to build your own life. I told him he was being ridiculous, that you moved back to help him after his surgery. And inviting Marcus? Laura's voice grew quiet. He thinks if Marcus shows up and you two have a confrontation, you'll leave on your own. Then he doesn't look like the bad guy. He's using my abuser to force me out of the house. I didn't want to believe it when he first mentioned the dinner party. I thought surely he wouldn't go that far. But yes, sweetheart, I think that's exactly what he's doing. I spent the next 2 days gathering evidence. First stop, My father's girlfriend. I found Janet at her real estate office, all bleached teeth and designer handbag. You must be Isla. She extended a manicured hand. Your father's told me so much about you. Has he? I didn't shake her hand. Has he mentioned that he invited my abusive ex-boyfriend to Christmas dinner? Her smile faltered. What? Marcus, the man who put me in the hospital 3 years ago. Dad invited him to our family Christmas. Did you know about that? I don't... Your father said you were going through a difficult breakup, but... Did you ask him to get me out of the house? Janet's face flushed crimson. Now wait just a minute. It's a simple question. Yes or no? She sank into her desk chair. I suggested that it might be nice for him to have his own space. We're both adults, and having your adult daughter living there makes things complicated. So you knew he was trying to force me out. I didn't know about the ex-boyfriend. I swear, Isla, he just said he was having a dinner party to help you move forward. By inviting the man who broke my bones? Janet's hands trembled. I need you to leave. This is my workplace. I walked out and called Sarah. Janet claims she didn't know about Marcus specifically, but she definitely pressured Dad to kick me out. That's sick. What are you going to do? I'm going to let them have their little dinner party. But first, I need to make some calls. I contacted my old therapist, Dr. Chen, who'd treated me after leaving Marcus. Isla, it's good to hear from you. How can I help? I need documentation. Records of my sessions about the abuse, if you still have them. I do. But may I ask why? I explained the situation. Dr. Chen's professional calm cracked. Your father is creating an actively dangerous situation. Marcus violated his restraining order last year. Wait, what? When? He drove past your apartment complex 17 times in 1 week. The police have it on traffic cameras. His therapist reported it during a court-mandated check-in. He's supposed to stay 500 feet away from me. Exactly. Which makes your father's invitation potentially illegal. If Marcus accepts and attends, knowing you'll be there, he's violating his restraining order. My mind raced. Can you send me those police reports? I'll email them within the hour. Next, I visited Marcus's parole officer. Officer Rodriguez remembered me. Miss Chen, I hope this isn't about... It is. Is Marcus Thornton still on parole? His expression tightened. I can't discuss active cases. My father invited him to Christmas dinner, at the house where I live. The house covered by Marcus's restraining order. Officer Rodriguez's jaw clenched. When? Christmas Eve, 6 p.m. Does Marcus know you'll be there? According to my friend who ran into him, he's excited to reconnect. Rodriguez pulled up his computer. If he shows up knowing you're present, that's a direct violation. He'll go back to jail. Good. Miss Chen, I need to be clear about something. If Marcus attends this dinner, I need to know immediately. But I can't stop him from going unless he tells me his plans beforehand. What if I told you I plan to be there? And that I plan to call you the moment he arrives? Rodriguez smiled grimly. Then I'd say you're a very smart woman, and I'd make sure to keep my phone on. That evening, Sarah came over with Thai food and moral support. Okay, walk me through this plan, she said, spreading pad Thai across my coffee table. Marcus shows up. I call Rodriguez. Marcus gets arrested for violating parole and the restraining order. And your dad? Faces consequences for knowingly facilitating a crime. Sarah frowned. Is that actually illegal? I spoke with Aunt Laura's lawyer friend. Inviting someone to break a restraining order counts as facilitation. At minimum, Dad could face charges. At best, the whole family finds out what he tried to do. You're really going through with this? I met her eyes. He chose a man who beat me over his own daughter. Yeah, Sarah. I'm going through with this. My phone buzzed. A text from Dad. Remember Christmas Eve, 6 p.m., dress nicely, and Isla, be civil. I typed back. I'll be there. Sarah raised her beer. To revenge. To justice, I corrected, clinking my bottle against hers. Christmas Eve arrived cold and clear. I wore my nicest dress, the one I'd worn to Marcus's assault trial. Sarah arrived at 5:30. You sure about this? She asked. Never been more sure of anything. At 5:55, cars started arriving. Aunt Laura came first, hugging me tight. "I'm here as your witness," she whispered. "Whatever happens." Dad greeted guests in the foyer, playing the perfect host. He barely glanced at me. At 6:15, Marcus walked through the door. He looked different, cleaner. He'd gained weight, trimmed his beard. But his eyes, those eyes were the same, cold and calculating. "Isla," he said, opening his arms like we were old friends. "It's so good to see you." "Marcus." I didn't move. "You're violating your restraining order." The room went silent. Dad's face turned purple. "Isla, don't be dramatic." 500 feet, I continued. "That's the legal distance you're required to maintain from me. You're currently standing about 8 feet away." Marcus's smile didn't waver. "Your father invited me. I'm just accepting his hospitality." "You accepted knowing I live here. That's premeditated violation." "Isla, enough!" Dad stepped between us. "This is my house and Marcus is my guest. Your guest is a convicted abuser who's currently breaking the law." Other guests began whispering. Janet appeared at Dad's elbow, looking horrified. "Thomas, you said she was difficult, but this is... difficult?" Aunt Laura's voice cut through the murmurs. "Her ex-boyfriend broke 3 of her ribs, Thomas. He fractured her wrist in 2 places, and you invited him here." Dad's face flushed darker. "Everyone makes mistakes. Marcus has apologized." "I don't care about his apologies," I said, loud enough for everyone to hear. "I care about my safety, and I care that my father cared so little about me that he used my abuser as a weapon to force me out." "That's not..." Dad sputtered. "You're twisting this." "Am I?" "Tell everyone why you really invited Marcus. Tell them about Janet wanting me gone. Tell them how you thought if Marcus showed up, I'd leave and you'd look like the victim instead of the man who chose his girlfriend over his daughter's safety." The room erupted, guests talking over each other, some moving toward the door. Marcus stepped toward me. "Isla, baby, can we just talk? Privately?" "Don't you dare call me that. And no, we can't talk. We will never talk again. I've changed. I've been in therapy. I've done the work. I don't care. You put me in the hospital. You threatened my life. You haunted my nightmares for 2 years. No amount of therapy erases that." His expression shifted, the mask slipping. "You always were ungrateful. I tried to love you. You tried to control me. There's a difference. I made mistakes. Everyone makes mistakes." "Mistakes?" My voice rose. "You held a knife to my throat and told me you'd kill me if I ever left. That wasn't a mistake, Marcus. That was a promise." Dad grabbed my arm. "That's enough, Isla. You're embarrassing yourself." I yanked free. "I'm embarrassing myself? You invited my abuser to Christmas dinner to manipulate me into leaving. You told people I was overdramatic about being beaten. You chose a woman you've known for 3 months over the daughter who moved home to take care of you after surgery. You ungrateful little..." Dad raised his hand. Marcus moved faster. He grabbed my wrist, the same wrist he'd broken, and yanked hard. "Don't you talk to your father like that!" he snarled, his fingers digging into old fractures. Pain exploded up my arm. Sarah screamed. Aunt Laura pulled out her phone. "Let go of her!" Sarah tried to pull Marcus off me. He shoved her backward. She hit the wall hard. "Marcus, stop!" Even Dad looked shocked, but Marcus wasn't listening anymore. The mask was completely gone. 3 years I waited. 3 years of therapy and parole check-ins and pretending to be sorry. And you're still the same spoiled brat who wouldn't just do what she was told. I used his momentum against him, yanking my arm down hard. He stumbled forward, and I brought my knee up into his stomach. He released me, doubling over. "You just assaulted me in front of 20 witnesses," I said, cradling my wrist, "while violating a restraining order. In front of my father, who invited you here specifically to harass me." Officer Rodriguez walked in through the open door, 2 uniformed cops behind him. "Marcus Thornton, you're under arrest for violating parole and a restraining order, plus assault." The police took statements from everyone. Aunt Laura's video showed everything. Marcus grabbing me, shoving Sarah, his verbal threats. Dad's face grew whiter with each witness account. "Mr. Chen," Rodriguez addressed my father, "you knowingly invited someone with an active restraining order to an event where the protected party would be present. That's facilitation. You're looking at charges." I just thought. Dad's usual bluster was gone. "You thought what? That endangering your daughter would make her leave quietly?" Aunt Laura's contempt was withering. "You thought manipulating an abusive criminal was good parenting?" Janet slipped out during the chaos. I later learned she broke up with Dad via text. At the hospital, they x-rayed my wrist. No new breaks, just deep bruising. "You were lucky," the doctor said. "I was prepared," I corrected. Sarah sat with me, ice pack pressed to the bruise blooming on her shoulder. "I can't believe he actually showed up," she said. "Oh, I could. Marcus always thought he was smarter than everyone else. That arrogance is what got him caught." Aunt Laura appeared with coffee. The prosecutor called. With the video evidence and 20 witnesses, Marcus is looking at 2 to 5 years. The parole violation alone is enough to send him back. And Dad? He's been charged with facilitation and reckless endangerment. The family is, well, let's just say Christmas at your uncle's house next year won't include Thomas. Good. A knock at the door. Officer Rodriguez entered, looking satisfied. "Marcus is in custody. He tried to claim self-defense, said you attacked him first. Then we showed him the video." Rodriguez smiled. "He shut up real quick after that. His lawyer's already talking plea deal." "Will he take it?" "Probably. The evidence is overwhelming. Video, witnesses, medical records from your original abuse. He's done." After Rodriguez left, Sarah turned to me. "What about your dad? Are you going to press charges?" "I already did. He endangered me deliberately. He knew what Marcus was capable of and invited him anyway." "Where will you live?" "Aunt Laura offered me her guest house, rent-free until I finish my nursing degree." Aunt Laura squeezed my shoulder. "Your family, Isla. Real family protects each other." 2 weeks later, I moved into Laura's guest house. Dad called once, trying to apologize. "Isla, I made a mistake. I wasn't thinking clearly. Janet was pressuring me and I just..." "Stop. I don't want your excuses." "But I'm your father. We can work through this." "No, we can't. You chose your comfort over my safety. You weaponized my abuser against me. Those aren't mistakes, Dad. Those are choices. Everyone deserves forgiveness." "You sound like Marcus. He said the same thing right before he grabbed my wrist. Funny how abusers always think they deserve forgiveness without earning it." "I'm not an abuser." "You're right. You're worse. Marcus was honest about wanting to hurt me. You pretended to care while setting me up for harm. At least Marcus was direct." "Isla, please. Goodbye, Dad. Don't call again." I blocked his number. Marcus took a plea deal. 4 years, no parole. Dad got probation, community service, and a restraining order I filed. He lost his reputation. Aunt Laura made sure everyone knew what he'd done. 6 months later, Sarah and I celebrated my apartment lease signing. "To new beginnings," she toasted. "To ending cycles," I countered. "Your dad tried to friend me on Facebook." "Block him." "Already did." I looked around my small apartment. Truly mine, paid for with my own work. No more walking on eggshells. No more pretending abuse was complicated. No more forgiving people who didn't deserve it. My phone buzzed. A message from Aunt Laura. "Dinner Sunday? Bring Sarah. I'm making lasagna. Real family, the kind you choose. The kind that protects you." I typed back, "We'll be there." What would you do if a family member tried to use your past trauma against you? Have you ever had to cut off someone you loved for your own safety? Drop your stories in the comments and don't forget to like and subscribe for more revenge stories where justice actually wins.